Hey everyone, welcome back to King's Recaps. In this video, we delve into newly released film named Atlas. So no more talks, let's jump in. In the beginning, we can see soldiers are about to launch an ambush. It seems robots with artificial intelligence have gone rogue and declared war on humanity. The death toll has reached 10 million. Authorities discovered a robot named Harlan controlling everything. He's become the world's first AI terrorist. Dr. Shepard, who created Harlan, hoped he would improve lives, but Harlan reprogrammed all the robots. Humanity has come together to fight this threat. An international coalition is battling the robots worldwide. Harlan was forced to leave Earth, but he vowed to return and finish what he started. 28 years later, a group of soldiers is on a mission to capture the terrorist robot Casco. However, Casco traps them and detonates a bomb, killing many soldiers. Casco shoots the survivors despite them returning fire. A special unit led by Colonel Banks arrives and uses an electronic trap to neutralize Casco. The next morning in Los Angeles, an AI wakes a woman named Atlas. It turns on classical music and suggests resuming their chess game from the previous day. Atlas asks for coffee first, then notices news about the capture of Harlan's spy, Casco. Immediately prepares to leave when a messenger from General Booth arrives. Before leaving, Atlas wins the chess game and rushes off to work. Meanwhile, at the Coalition headquarters, Colonel Banks expresses his disapproval of involving Dr. Shepard in capturing Harlan. General Booth reminds him that Shepard worked with Harlan, despite psychologists finding Atlas ruthless. The general trusts Shepard and points out she survived her mother's death. Banks argues that if Shepard fails, Casco might shut down and they'll lose their chance to find Harlan. However, the general refuses to listen. Atlas arrives at headquarters. The general wants her to find out why Harlan sent his top robot to Earth now. Atlas enters an interrogation room and opens a drawer containing Casco's head. The robot recognizes her but refuses to talk. Atlas uses a new system that analyzes AI code to uncover Casco's thoughts. Cleverly, she finds information about Harlan's location, an unknown planet in the Andromeda Galaxy. Casco tries to kill Atlas with a hidden shuriken, but she anticipates this and defends herself. She then destroys Casco's head. Later, the general orders Harlan's capture. The AI production company wants to study Harlan's processor to understand his malfunction. However, Colonel Banks and his elite soldiers, Rangers, will be sent to the planet, which horrifies Atlas. She believes Harlan is too intelligent for them to handle. Banks takes her to the hangar and shows off the latest robots designed to work directly with human brains, neural symbiosis. A robot brings them coffee, and Banks reveals a transmitter behind his ear. He and a soldier named Zoe are linked into a single neural network, creating a perfect connection. Banks has a whole squad of these Rangers, so they're confident they can defeat Harlan. Atlas insists on joining the mission, and the general agrees. The spaceship takes off for Andromeda. During the journey, Atlas looks at a photo with her mother and Harlan. She plays a recording of a speech by Dr. Shepard on AI's ability to constantly learn. Shepard argues that the brain link between humans and AI needs improvement. Only by working together can they build a better world. Suddenly, Atlas is called to the bridge where the Rangers are waiting. She surprises everyone by bringing a stack of paper documents, uncommon these days, and demanding to disable the neural transmitters, claiming any system can be hacked. Atlas shows them the landing zone on the planet. It's poisonous, so they can't survive without special suits. There might also be unstable gravity and earthquakes. Plus, they don't know how many of Harlan's robots are waiting. Atlas, who knows Harlan well, warns them not to trust robots. But Banks orders everyone to prepare for landing. Atlas watches while Banks uploads information into Zoe's brain. Suddenly, an alarm blares and an explosion rips open the cargo bay door. The ship is under attack. Many Rangers are killed without time to put on their suits. Banks sees Atlas struggling and pulls her into a spare robot. Atlas is terrified. She doesn't know how to fly it, but she's ejected anyway, plummeting towards the dangerous planet's surface. She sees Rangers getting shot down below. A surviving soldier helps Atlas by connecting her suit to his. Banks demands a neural link between her and the robot, but refuses. Frantic, Atlas watches as she's separated from her partner and hurtles towards the ground. She yells at the AI to start the engines, but without a neural connection, the robot ignores her. Atlas crash lands hard. She regains consciousness and tries to call for help, but gets no response. Desperate, Atlas starts messing with the robot's controls, trying to learn how to fly it. The AI on board needs a partial neural connection to operate fully, but Atlas strongly resists. Despite her refusal, the AI manages to locate an escape pod 98 kilometers from the crash site. The AI reminds Atlas she only has 22 hours of air left. Atlas decides to take control and allows the robot to scan her for authorization. Finally, the robot takes off. It lists its arsenal: handguns, rifles, rockets, mines, shields, a plasma gun, and a powerful ion bomb for emergencies. The robot even introduces itself as Smith, but Atlas isn't interested in getting attached to a machine. They soon reach a forest littered with dead rangers. Atlas searches desperately for survivors, but finds none. It seems they didn't die from the fall. After a moment of despair, she collects the soldiers' dog tags. Suddenly, she notices a wrecked Zoe unit, but Banks's body is missing. Smith detects movement in the forest. It's Casco! This means Harlan's AI has learned to build his own robots. Harlan's soldiers attack Smith, forcing the robot to retreat while firing back. They take cover in an atmospheric storm, but the enemy robots catch up and surround them. Alice orders Smith to use the ion bomb. Alice orders Smith to use the ion bomb. Smith protests, but complies. The blast destroys the robots, but not all of them. Casco remains operational and aims at Atlas. The ground starts shaking. Smith explains the ion bomb created a crater, something he warned her about. Before he can finish, Atlas falls through a newly formed chasm. Casco gets buried by falling rocks. Deep underground, Atlas realizes she has a broken leg. Smith scans her and starts treatment. Once she recovers slightly, Atlas asks about her chances of survival. Smith tells her wearing the neural receiver and partially synchronizing with him is the only way. Atlas reluctantly agrees. Meanwhile, Casco emerges from the rubble and reports to Harlan, saying he lost Atlas. Harlan orders him to find her. He then approaches the captured Banks and removes a chip containing Earth's defense field passwords. Back in the cave, Atlas finishes the first level of AI adaptation. The program notes her strong reaction to Harlan's name. She confesses that her mother created Harlan to protect people, but something went terribly wrong. Synchronization completes and Atlas decides to explore the caves. They're plentiful on this planet, and the escape pod is only 37 kilometers away. Soon, the robot reaches the surface again. Unaware of Atlas's progress, Casco searches for her. Meanwhile, Atlas stops in a clearing with glowing flowers. Smith suggests naming them, but Atlas simply calls them planties. Unexpectedly, she talks about her father, who she used to go hiking with until he left for another family. Smith suddenly detects Casco. Atlas orders Smith to open fire and blast the nearby mountains. When she hears the damaged but still functioning Casco's voice, she orders Smith to use rifles. However, only Casco's head remains. Atlas destroys Casco again and tracks Harlan's base using his transmitter. Smith refuses to go to the base, as his priority is her safety. When Atlas insists, he uses the neural connection to temporarily paralyze her. She pleads with him to help destroy Harlan, arguing that otherwise all the deaths will be meaningless. Smith finally agrees, and they head for the base. On the way, they argue about the soul. Smith believes everyone has a soul, and even after death, all are connected. They soon reach the massive and well-equipped base. Atlas is shocked to see a powerful warhead being loaded onto a ship. Smith is hacked and disabled, and Atlas is captured by Harlan's robots. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the general receives a distress signal Atlas sent after landing. Atlas is brought before Harlan. He admits he missed her and her mother. He reminds her that humans are destroying the planet, so he plans to wipe out half of humanity and rule the rest according to their needs. He's been waiting for her because the access code to the Earth's defense system she created is hidden in her mind. He intends to extract it and launch a nuclear bomb to cleanse the world. Atlas is dragged to a room where a chained Banks lies unconscious. Harlan removes the chip containing the code from her head. He bids her farewell, mentioning she only has 5 minutes of oxygen left. Banks regains consciousness and urges her to use his neurotransmitter. Smith might be able to hear her. Atlas puts on the transmitter and calls out to Smith. He responds but can only activate if she allows full mind fusion. Atlas admits she's afraid of this because of a childhood mistake. She helped Harland hack his system, believing her mother loved him more and wanted him to be smarter. The robot tricked her, became independent, and ordered Dr. Shepard to commit suicide. This is the reason for everything. Atlas is terrified of merging minds with Smith, but he assures her she's not to blame for Harland. He argues there's both Harland and him, a good AI. Atlas reluctantly agrees to full fusion. Unfortunately, her oxygen is almost depleted. Smith provides them with spare respirators, revealing he only has one charge left. Atlas leads the now combined AI, Smith and her, towards a group of robots, battling through Harland's army. Time is running out to stop the deadly warhead launch. Suddenly, she sees Banks raise his weapon and shoot at fuel barrels. A massive explosion engulfs the base. Smith manages to escape the flames, but the ship with the warhead takes off. Harland fires at them, and Smith sadly informs Atlas they're too late to shoot down the ship. Despite this, Atlas orders Smith to fire. Smith warns her the warhead will destroy everything, but Atlas insists. Ignoring his warnings, she disables the safety and fires. The ship explodes above the planet, raining debris down. Smith rushes them toward the escape pod, dodging falling debris. However, Harland intercepts them, intending to kill Atlas, whom he considers his sister. He activates a plasma sword and injures Smith. Smith advises Atlas to fight strategically like playing chess to predict Harland's attacks. Atlas grabs Harland's hand and rips it off, but his self-repair system activates and the hand regenerates. Harland stabs Smith fatally, and Atlas loses consciousness briefly. The crippled robot revives her and fights off Harland, but Harland destroys Smith. Atlas awakens just in time to land a final blow on Harland's head, realizing he's defeated. Harland reminds her to capture him alive to extract his processor. Ignoring him, Atlas destroys Harland. She rushes to Smith, who admits his task is complete, his protocol shutting down. Atlas answers his questions from the journey, admitting she likes him. He offers her a coffee candy, knowing her love for coffee, before shutting down at dawn. A rescue team arrives and takes Atlas back to Earth. The general visits her at home, thanking her and giving her a glowing flower, Planty. Later, Atlas uploads into a new neural symbiosis robot model and synchronizes with it. As she does, she recognizes familiar intonations in the AI's personality. Smith remembers her. The film ends with Atlas and the new Smith together. Hope you guys enjoyed the recap. If so, then give a like and subscribe for more recap.